My brother used one of my selfies to catfish people online. He was hoping to hook a sweet, shy girl, but instead he snagged a leviathan. Our university's resident hothead, Jax, feeling deeply insulted, took to the campus confessions board that very night. PSA, my roommate is a total creep. Not that I'm planning anything, but just hypothetically, is it illegal to murder him? Someone in the comments tried to play peacemaker.
Dude, chill.
What if he wasn't lying? What if that's actually his sister? Jax's reply was swift and brutal. Nobody looks that good in real life. Then came the next day's basketball game. There, in the cheerleading squad. He saw me, the girl who couldn't possibly look that good. He dropped the ball mid-dribble, whipped out his phone, and frantically edited his post.
Urgent.
I think I scared my brother-in-law so bad, he fainted. Should I give him mouth-to-mouth? Waiting online for answers. Tyson and I are twins. But the distribution of intellect between us is ridiculously skewed. As if I stole his share of brains back in the womb. While I was winning gold medals in the math Olympiad, he was playing in the MUD. When I got early admission into a top-tier university, he was being held back by his teacher for mixing up the alphabet with, well, everything else. Somehow, by a stroke of dumb luck, he got an athletic scholarship to the same university as me. Just a few days into the semester, the idiot showed up at my door, his face glowing with a dopey, lovesick grin. He told me he was in love and was going to pursue the famously aloof campus queen. I knew who he was talking about. That girl wasn't even into guys. Tyson, however, was a firm believer in the invincible power of true love. The next few weeks, he gave me daily progress reports page. She added me, she accepted my friend request. She's so sweet when she texts. And she sends me cat emojis. Is this what it's like to talk to an angel? Paige, help. She wants to meet up tomorrow. I'm freaking out. Can you help me? When I got that message, I was buried under a mountain of thesis revisions from my advisor. My brain completely fried. I agreed without a second thought. I worked late into the night, finally emailing the paper to my professor, before collapsing onto my bed, phone in hand. As my brain slowly rebooted, a thought surfaced. Wait a second. The campus queen was known for her ice queen vibe. When did she become a sweet angel? And besides, Tyson, with his single-digit IQ, actually managed to win her over. Before I could puzzle it out, my roommate Tilly forwarded me a trending post from the university forum. The poster's username alone screamed, "Don't mess with me." And every word dripped with fury. My roommate is a psycho. Can I just bury him in the woods? The comment section was a swarm of curious onlookers eager for drama. What kind of psycho spilled the tea? Is a guy? Roommate's a guy. I see where this is going. EW, keep it in your pants. Not every guy on guy story is a romance. The original poster replied instantly, his rage palpable even through the screen. He's not gay, he's a scammer. Use some hot girl's picture as his profile pic. I thought I was talking to a girl for 2 whole weeks. A classic catfishing disaster. Some commenters were on his side. That's disgusting, using a fake photo to play with someone's feelings. OP, don't hold back. Beat him up. Others tried to be the voice of reason. It's the middle of the night. You guys are roommates. Just rough him up a little to blow off steam. Don't actually kill the guy. Wait, you lived with him this whole time and only just found out? This seemed to make the poster even angrier. I just cornered him in the bathroom. He was crying and begging, swearing the picture was of his sister, and that she really looks like that. Give me a break. As if anyone could be that beautiful in real life. Within minutes, the thread had hundreds of replies. I was cackling under my covers, thoroughly entertained. Then my scrolling finger froze on a blurry photo. Someone had posted it was a picture of the poster's dorm room, meant to prove how much of a creep the roommate was. In the corner of the shot was a scruffy gray backpack. Dangling from it was an incredibly ugly bright green frog plushie. Unless I was blind, that was the exact same one. Tyson had begged me to win for him at the arcade last week. Just then he added a new comment. The coward is a total lightweight. Started crying before I even laid a hand on him. Keeps insisting it's his sister. And that she's coming tomorrow to sort things out. Is that a threat? Fine by me. He says his sister runs with a tough crowd. I'll be waiting right here tomorrow. Let's see if I don't take them both down. The smile on my face vanished. Oh, crap. It couldn't be Tyson, could it? My head was spinning. I frantically scrolled through the post again, desperate to find any evidence to the contrary. Finally, I had to accept the horrifying truth. That unlucky bastard was, without a doubt, my own flesh and blood brother. Tyson, you have a death wish. The tone in the comments had already shifted. SOP doesn't sound like your average freshman. For those who don't know, that tone, that swagger. There's only one guy on campus who talks like that. The one even the dean is polite to. Oh, I know who this is. It's him. That creep roommate is so screwed. He picked a fight with the final boss. Chill ran down my spine. Based on my extensive reading experience, guys with this kind of background and temper were always the untouchable campus royalty. I had the sudden, violent urge to strangle Tyson. My fingers flew faster than my brain, opening my chat with him. Tyson, are you trying to get yourself killed? It took a long time for him to reply. When he did, it was a voice message. I tapped it, my hand trembling. Tyson's blood-curdling scream nearly shattered my eardrums. Paige, help me. He's going to kill me. Thank God, I was wearing headphones, or the entire dorm would have woken up. Then a new voice cut through the message. A cold, low chuckle. It was deep, clear, and laced with a casual sort of menace. So, how many people are you bringing tomorrow? I took a deep breath, my fingers shaking as I typed. I wrote and deleted my message several times before finally sending. This is all a misunderstanding. It's just me. The person on the other end clearly had no patience for my explanations. He cut me off, issuing a challenge. You looking down on me? Fine. I don't hit girls. The sheer arrogance in his tone was off the charts. He sounded like he knew how to fight. I suddenly felt like Tyson was a lost cause. Maybe it was time to delete his contact and start over. This whole drama of feuding families and gang wars was way above the pay grade of a quiet academic like me. Forget it. I was going to sleep. But just before I drifted off, I made the mistake of checking the form one last time. The conversation had taken a weird turn. Have you ever considered the possibility that his tough crowd sister actually does look like the picture? So what? Is being pretty a superpower? Opie is still gonna wipe the floor with her. Seriously though, how hot does a picture have to be to have Opie this worked up? Post it. Let us be the judge. Forget it, man. He's definitely keeping it for himself. The Opie's final reply was a furious declaration. Impossible. Absolutely no one looks like that. It's a scam. This is the first time in my life I've been played for a fool. And I'm getting my payback tomorrow. So the sister and brother better be ready. I shut my phone, a tired, serene smile on my face. Great. The next morning, Tyson sent me a text page. Something urgent came up. I have to lie low for a while. Take care of yourself. Maybe you should wear a helmet. He said, he doesn't hit girls, but he might not be able to stop himself. That little rat. He was fast. Well, since the main culprit had fled the scene, there was no reason for me to walk into the line of fire. I had planned to be a hermit in my dorm all day, but Tilly's booming voice dragged me out of bed. Paige, get up. The sun is shining. It's criminal to sleep in on a day this gorgeous. Everyone assumes I'm an only child. Tyson doesn't dare acknowledge me in public. Afraid I'll cut off his allowance. Paige, come on there. It's a basketball game on the north field, and it's packed with hotties. I heard all the freshman legends are playing. If we're late, we won't get a good spot. Tilly shook my arm, whining, please come with me. Pretty please? For me, Paige. I couldn't resist her, so I dragged myself out of bed, my hair a bird's nest, and got ready. When we got to the court, it was a madhouse. It felt like every girl from our university, and even the neighboring one, was here. See that? Lily pulled me to a spot in the front corner. That whole crowd is here for Jax. She pointed to the center of the court, where a tall figure was surrounded by his teammates. Jax? You mean the one who's… I squinted trying to make out his face. Yes. The one whose family is loaded, who has a notoriously short fuse, but is so unbelievably handsome. He's the new campus heartthrob. Tilly was practically drooling. I heard his family donated the new science building, and he got in on his own merit, not just money. Jax. Why did that name sound so familiar before? I could connect the dots. Tilly leaned in close. Why aren't you wearing your glasses again? You're wasting your eyesight. Jax's face is a work of art. It's a crime not to see it clearly. She studied my face for a moment, then changed the subject. Seriously, Paige, you're this beautiful and you never wear a stitch of makeup. If you just put in a little effort, that campus queen wouldn't stand a chance. Quickly covered her mouth. Don't say that. I don't want the attention. Ugh, such a humble brag. Tilly pouted, turning her attention back to the court. Suddenly, she started waving excitedly. Whatever. I got a chair for my man. Your man? He. We just started dating. He's on the other team. Tilly blushed. Want to know what the sickeningly sweet smell of love is like? I shook my head violently. The game started, and the energy was electric. Tilly was screaming her head off next to me. Take down Jax. Go, baby, go. Crush the bourgeoisie. We were surrounded by Jack's fan club, and her cheers earned us a volley of death glares. Even the players on the court glanced our way. The tall guy, Jax, turned his head. We were standing right under the basket, so he was incredibly close. Even without my glasses, I could see his face clearly. It was stunning. Deep-set features. Sharp, intense eyes. He was sweating from the game. A drop tracing the line of his throat as he breathed. He was tall, easily over 6'3", and he was frowning, looking absolutely ferocious. The ball rolled to a stop by our feet. Jax walked over to get it, his eyes sweeping casually over the crowd. When his gaze passed over me, he stopped dead. His eyes, which had been burning with competitive fire just a second ago, went wide as saucers. He froze like he'd seen a ghost. The basketball bounced. Once. Twice. 3 times. Thud. 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 It was the only sound in the entire gymnasium. The cheerleaders had frozen mid-pom-pom shake. The referee looked like he'd forgotten how to blow his whistle. And Jax, the campus leviathan, the guy who reportedly ate freshmen for breakfast, was staring at me like I was a complex mathematical equation that had just insulted his mother. I adjusted my glasses, realizing they had slid down my nose. I whispered to Tilly. Why is he looking at me like he wants to mount my head on a wall? Tilly, usually the loudest person in the room, was vibrating with terror. I think you broke him. Jax took a step forward. The crowd parted like the Red Sea, sensing the radioactive levels of rage and confusion radiating off him. He didn't look at the ball. He didn't look at his coach screaming for a timeout. He walked straight to the sidelines, stopping 6 inches from the barrier where I stood. Up close, he was terrifyingly high definition. I could see the flecks of gold in his furious hazel eyes and the pulse hammering in his neck. He smelled like expensive cologne and danger. You, he said. His voice wasn't a shout. It was a low rumble, the kind that precedes an earthquake. I swallowed hard. Me? He pulled his phone out of his jersey waistband. He tapped the screen aggressively and shoved it in my face. It was the photo. My selfie. The one Tyson had stolen. Is this you? He enunciated, as if speaking to a slow child or a very intelligent golden retriever. My brain, usually a supercomputer capable of solving differential equations in seconds, decided now was a great time to blue screen. Hypothetically? Hypothetically, Jax repeated, his eyes narrowing. So, you're telling me that the girl I've been talking to for 2 weeks, the one who claimed she was in the hospital with a rare tropical disease yesterday, is currently standing courtside at a basketball game? Tropical disease? I blurted out. Tyson said he told you I was visiting a nunnery. The silence that followed was heavy enough to crush a small car. Tyson. Jax said the name like a curse word. So the rat does exist. And you. He looked me up and down, his gaze lingering on my messy bun and oversized hoodie. You're the sister. The fake picture. I'm the sister. I confirmed, my voice squeaking. And the picture is, well, it's me. With better lighting. And a filter. Or 2. Jax let out a laugh. It wasn't a happy sound. It was the sound of a man who was about to commit a felony. Unbelievable. He wasn't lying about the face. He was just lying about everything else. He leaned over the barrier. He was so close I could feel the heat coming off his skin. Tell your brother, he whispered, low enough that only I could hear, that hiding behind his sister's skirt won't save him. And you and I are going to have a very long conversation after this game. He turned on his heel, walked back to the court, picked up the ball, and slammed it through the hoop with enough force to make the backboard shudder. Tilly grabbed my arm, her nails digging in. Paige, did you just get hit on, or did you just get a death threat? I said, watching Jax decimate the opposing team with the fury of a vengeful god. It was a subpoena. I tried to escape during halftime. I really did. But Tilly, traitor that she was, refused to leave her man, who was currently losing by 30 points thanks to Jax's rage-fueled performance. By the time the final buzzer sounded, the exits were clogged. And there he was. Jax didn't celebrate with his team. He toweled off the sweat, threw a hoodie over his jersey, and marched directly toward me. He didn't say a word. He just hooked a finger around the strap of my backpack and towed me out of the gym like a piece of luggage. Hey, this is kidnapping, I protested, stumbling to keep up with his long strides. It's a citizen's arrest, he shot back without looking at me. He dragged me to a quiet bench near the science building, ironically, the one his family donated. He sat me down and crossed his arms, looming over me. Talk. Now. Look, I started, trying to summon some dignity. My brother is an idiot. A medically significant idiot. He didn't mean to hurt you. He fell in love with that girl, Paige. Wait, no, the other girl. The campus queen. Jax rubbed his temples. So, he catfished me to get advice on how to woo her? By pretending to be you. It sounds worse when you say it out loud. It sounds like a psychiatric case study. Jax stared at me. The adrenaline from the game was fading, replaced by a cold, analytical look. You know what the worst part is? I actually believed him. I told that account things. Personal things. I felt a pang of guilt. Tyson had mentioned Jack's opening up, but I hadn't realized how deep it went.
I'm sorry.
Tyson didn't read the deep stuff. He has the attention span of a goldfish. He mostly just looked for emojis. Jack snorted. And you? Did you read them?
No. I didn't even know until last night.
He studied me for a long moment. You look different than the photo. You're smaller. Scared. I'm not scared. I lied. I'm just evaluating the probability of you murdering me. It's currently sitting at about 40%, he drawled. But it could go down. If you help me. I blinked. Help you? My reputation, Jack said, gesturing vaguely to the campus. I posted on the confession board that nobody looks that good. Then I edited it. Now, everyone knows I was catfished. If I admit I was scammed by a freshman boy, I'll never hear the end of it. The team will roast me alive. So, he leaned in, a wicked glint in his eye. We're going to change the narrative. Tyson didn't catfish me. You and we've been talking. It was real. We just had a fight. My jaw dropped. You want me to fake date you? That is the most cliched, illogical trope in the history of fiction. Do you want me to hunt Tyson down and turn him into a pretzel? I sighed. When do we start?
Now.
He grabbed my hand. His palm was rough, warm, and engulfed mine completely. Walk me to my car. And try to look like you like me, even though you currently look like you're being led to the gallows. The next week was a blur of absurdity. According to the campus gossip mill, which moved faster than light, Jax and I were the new it couple. Apparently, we had a turbulent, passionate relationship that explained the confusing confession board posts. The reality was much more boring and yet significantly more stressful. Jax took his role as fake boyfriend very seriously. He walked me to my advanced calculus classes. He sat with me in the library, glaring at anyone who breathed too loudly while I worked on my thesis. You're staring, I muttered one afternoon, not looking up from my laptop. I'm marveling, Jax said, leaning back in his chair, feet up on the table. You've been staring at those numbers for 3 hours. You haven't blinked. Are you a robot?
I'm focusing.
Something you should try. Don't you have a business ethics paper due? I hired a guy. Jax.
I'm kidding.
Mostly. He reached over and plucked the pen from my hand.
Take a break.
You're making my brain hurt. I looked at him. Really looked at him. In the quiet of the library, the monster of the court was normal. He wore reading glasses that made him look confusingly intellectual. He had a habit of chewing on his thumb when he was reading. Where is Tyson? He asked suddenly. Hiding in the ventilation system of the engineering dorms, I think, I admitted. He's terrified you're going to ambush him. I might, Jax mused. But honestly, tormenting you is kind of fun. I am not being tormented. I am merely tolerating your presence to preserve my brother's skeletal integrity. Is that why you're blushing? I am not. I touched my cheeks. They were burning. It's the heating in here. Inefficient HVAC systems. Jax smirked. It was a slow, dangerous smile that did weird things to my stomach. Sure, Einstein. Whatever you say. The shift happened on Thursday. I was struggling with a proof, a nasty, knotty problem that had stumped me for days. I was muttering to myself, hair wild, surrounded by crumpled paper. Jax, who had been scrolling on his phone, watched me for a while. Then, without a word, he slid a piece of paper toward me. On it was a drawing, not of math, but of a frog. An ugly, green frog with a backpack. Underneath, in messy handwriting, it said, "Keep going." I looked up, surprised. My little sister loves those things, he mumbled, looking away. She says they're good luck. Figure it out, Paige. And just like that, the knot in my brain loosened. I solved the proof 10 minutes later. When I turned to show him, beaming with pure, unadulterated nerd joy, he wasn't looking at the paper. He was looking at my smile. And for the first time, he didn't look angry. He looked struck. I can't do this anymore, Tyson whispered over the phone. I'm running out of protein bars, Paige. I smell like dust. You can come out, I whispered back, hiding in the bathroom of the dorm. Jax isn't going to kill you. I think I've domesticated him. Domesticated? Paige, he's an apex predator. You don't domesticate a T-Rex. You just wait until it's not hungry. Just come to the game tonight. He's playing against state. If you show up in the crowd, he can't kill you with witnesses.
Feeny.
But if I die, tell Mom I want a Viking funeral. That night, the gym was packed. The energy was frantic. This was the biggest game of the season. Tilly had painted my face with the school colors, insisting that supportive girlfriends do war paint. I sat in the front row, the reserved seat that Jax had insisted upon. The game was brutal. Jax was playing with a cold, ruthless efficiency. But every time there was a timeout, his eyes flicked to me. Checking. making sure I was there. In the fourth quarter, things went wrong. The opposing team realized Jax was the engine. They sent their biggest guy, a linebacker masquerading as a basketball player, to check him. It was physical.
Dirty.
Elbows were thrown. Then, with 2 minutes left, the guy shoved Jax hard while he was in the air. Jax hit the floor with a sickening thud. The crowd gasped. I was on my feet before I realized it. Jax didn't get up immediately. He lay there, clutching his ankle. The referee blew the whistle, and a fight nearly broke out between the teams. I saw Tyson then. He had crept down from the bleachers, looking pale. He was staring at Jax with genuine worry. Jax rolled over, grimacing. His eyes found mine. Then they shifted to the figure standing a few rows behind me. Tyson. The recognition was instant. Jax's eyes narrowed. He pushed his teammates away and stood up, putting weight on the bad ankle. He limped, not toward the bench, but toward the stands. Jax, sit down, the coach screamed. Jax ignored him. He walked right up to the railing. You, he pointed at Tyson. Tyson squeaked. I brought you a Gatorade? Jax stared at him for a long, terrifying second. Then he looked at me. I was holding my breath, my hands gripping the railing. Your sister, Jax growled at Tyson, is the only reason you are still breathing oxygen. You owe her.
Big time.
Then Jax turned back to the court, limped to the free throw line, and sank 2 shots with a broken ankle to win the game. The stadium exploded. But I wasn't watching the scoreboard. I was watching the idiot who had just risked his career to threaten my brother and realizing with a sinking feeling that I was in big trouble. I wasn't fake dating him anymore. I was falling for the Leviathan. The fallout was immediate. Jax was benched for 2 weeks with a sprained ankle. This meant he had a lot of free time, and he decided to spend all of it in my dorm room. You have a single, he noted, looking around my cramped space filled with whiteboards and books. Cozy. It's for studying, not for harboring injured athletes. He lay on my bed, his cast propped up on 3 of my pillows.
I'm bored.
Entertain me. Do some math. I am not a circus monkey, Jax. Read to me then. I sighed and picked up my textbook. Chapter 4, Non-Euclidean Geometry and the Curvature of Space-Time. Something else. I grabbed a novel Tilly had left.
Atrache romance.
I started reading, my voice monotonous. But as the scene got steamier, my voice got higher. Jax was grinning, eyes closed, hands behind his head. You're turning red again, Paige. Shut up. Come here.
No.
Paige. I walked over to the bed. What do you want? Water? Painkillers? He reached out, grabbed my wrist, and pulled. I stumbled, landing awkwardly on the mattress beside him. He shifted, so he was hovering over me, careful of his leg. The air left the room. You know, he said softly, his hand coming up to tuck a strand of hair behind my ear. Tyson said you were a genius, but he didn't say you were oblivious. I'm not oblivious, I whispered.
I'm empirical.
I require data. Here's some data. He kissed me. It wasn't like the books. It was better. It was intense and messy and tasted like mint and inevitability. My brain finally shut up.
No equations. No logic.
Just Jax. When he pulled back, he looked a little dazed himself. Hypothetically, he murmured, if I asked you to be my real girlfriend, what are the statistical odds of you saying yes? Hi, I breathed. Statistically significant. He grinned, leaning in again.
Bang.
The door flew open.
Paige.
I think she likes me. Tyson stood in the doorway, holding a bouquet of flowers that looked like they'd been stolen from a cemetery. He froze.
He looked at me.
He looked at Jax, who was currently on top of me. Oh, Tyson said. Oh no. I broke the code. I am dead. Jax didn't even look up. Get out, Tyson. Or I break the other leg. Tyson slammed the door and ran. We were happy. Disgustingly, confusingly happy. But happiness in a university drama is a fragile thing. The campus queen. The girl Tyson had originally tried to woo, the one whose indifference started this whole mess, decided to pay attention. Her name was Chloe. And she didn't like that the campus fake couple was getting more attention than her. She started digging. It was a Tuesday when the post went up on the confession board. PSA. The campus prince and his nerd princess are a lie. Attached were screenshots. Screenshots of Tyson's original messages to Jax. Screenshots of me denying I knew Jax. And a long, detailed explanation of how Tyson scammed Jax and how I was just the cleanup crew trying to save my brother's scholarship. The comments were brutal. Jax got played by a freshman? So, she's just using him to protect her brother? That's pathetic. I was in the cafeteria when my phone blew up. I saw people staring, whispering. I ran to Jax's dorm. I pounded on the door. He opened it. He looked tired. He was holding his phone. Jax, I can explain. Is it true? He asked. His voice was flat. Did you agree to this arrangement just to protect Tyson? Was that the only reason? At first, yes. But. So, the last few weeks, the library, the games last night, that was just damage control?
No.
Jax, you know it wasn't.
Do-i.
He laughed, a harsh sound, because everyone else seems to think I'm the biggest idiot on campus. First the brother tricks me, then the sister handles me. I am not handling you. I love you. The words hung in the air. Jax flinched. He looked like he wanted to believe me. But the humiliation was deep. He was a guy who prided himself on control, and he had been played from the start. I need space, Paige, he said quietly. And he closed the door in my face. For 3 days, I didn't eat. I didn't sleep. I just did math.
Angry, submit.
Tyson was miserable. He sat on my floor, hugging the ugly frog plushie. I ruined it, he moaned. I'm the worst twin. I should have been absorbed in the womb. Stop it, I snapped, wiping my eyes. Self-pity is inefficient. You have to fix it, Paige. You're the genius. Solve it. You can't solve people, Tyson. Variables are too volatile. Then don't solve the person, Tyson said, showing a rare flicker of insight. Solve the problem. I looked at him. The problem is that he thinks I'm a liar. No, Tyson said. The problem is that he thinks he's a fool. Prove he's not. I stood up. I grabbed my coat. Where are you going? To the basketball finals. The championship game was televised. The entire school was there. Jax was playing, his ankle taped up, his face a mask of stone. He played angry. He made fouls.
He was sloppy.
I marched down to the scorer's table. I grabbed the microphone from the announcer, who was too shocked to stop me. Excuse me. I yelled. The feedback screeched. The game stopped. The players looked over. Jax froze mid-dribble. I have a confession to make. I announced, my voice trembling but loud. I am a liar. The crowd went silent. I lied when I said I didn't want attention. I lied when I said I was just helping my brother. I looked directly at Jax. But the biggest lie is that Jax got played. I took a deep breath. Jax didn't get played. He saw through the catfish in 2 seconds. He knew something was wrong. But he stayed because he's decent. And he fell for me, the real me, without a filter. That's not being a fool. That's being smart enough to see the truth behind the data. I pulled a piece of paper from my pocket. And for the record, Tyson is an idiot. But he's my idiot. And Jax, you're my Leviathan. And if you don't forgive me, I'm going to calculate the trajectory of a basketball hitting your head every day for the next 4 years. The silence stretched. Jax stared at me. His chest was heaving. Then, slowly, a smile broke across his face. It wasn't a scary smile. It was the real one. He dropped the ball. He walked off the court. He climbed over the barrier, walked up to the announcer's table, and pulled me into a kiss that was definitely broadcast on local television. You talk too much, he whispered against my lips.
I'm nervous, Imam Beld.
Shut up and watch me win this game. He went back to the court. He pointed at the scoreboard. He looked at me. And then he absolutely destroyed the other team. 6 months later, Tyson burst into my room.
Paige.
Help. I did it again. I looked up from my desk, where Jax was currently asleep with his head on my lap, drooling slightly on my thesis notes. What did you do? I whispered. I tried to use ChatGPT to write a love poem for Chloe. But I think I accidentally declared war on a small country. Jax stirred. He opened one eye. Tyson, if you don't leave in 3 seconds, I'm going to feed you to the mascot. Tyson fled. Jax groaned and buried his face in my stomach. Can we trade him? Is there a return policy on twins? I ran my fingers through his hair. Unfortunately, he's a constant variable. Jax looked up at me, his hazel eyes warm and full of light. That's okay, he said softly. I'm getting pretty good at math. He kissed my hand. Plus, he smirked, I hear geniuses have cute kids. Gotta think about the gene pool. I blushed, hitting him with my notebook. Hypothetically, I said. Hypothetically, he agreed, pulling me down for a kiss. And for once, the probability of a happy ending was exactly 100%.